Interview with Finland's finance budget chief on economic outlook. 79,000 women missed cervical cancer screenings in 2021. Study aims to increase participation. European and U.S. stock markets plummet due to profit-taking, weak U.S. jobs data, and Japanese rate hike. Tense wage negotiations expected amid changes in Finnish labor laws. The conversation took place as the Ministry of Finance began negotiations for next year's budget. Niemela shared that if current savings measures are fully implemented, no further cuts would be necessary. He is optimistic about Finland's economic future, asserting that the situation is not as bleak as predicted. However, to avoid a deficit, the cost-cutting decisions must be taken seriously. When asked about personal spending cuts, Niemela humorously mentioned he would cut down on purchasing craft beers. In Pirkanmaa, a small group of women will test self-sampling at home. These samples will be sent to a laboratory to check for high-risk HPV. The study aims to determine if home HPV self-sampling can increase screening participation. In 2021, out of 284,000 women invited for screening, 79,000 did not participate. Nearly half of cervical cancer cases are detected in those who do not undergo screening. The research is led by Professor Carolina Levanto from Tampere University Hospital. If successful, this method could be widely implemented in Pirkanmaa. European and U.S. stock markets experienced sharp decline due to three main factors. First, after a long period of growth, investors began taking profits and readjusting expectations. Second, weak employment data from the U.S. has raised concerns about an economic recession. Third, the Bank of Japan raised interest rates, causing the sharpest decline since 1987. Experts predict continued market volatility in the near future but hope that confidence in economic growth will soon recover, supporting a rebound in stock prices. The Industrial Association will begin negotiations with the technology and chemical sectors amid significant disagreements between workers and employers. Riku Aalto, president of the Industrial Association, stated that government changes to labor laws would complicate negotiations. Workers seek compensation for government policies like unemployment benefit cuts and easier individual dismissal. Meanwhile, employers, like technology industry CEO Jarkko Ruohanimi, want to improve working conditions without reducing productivity. The outcomes of these negotiations could significantly impact wages and working conditions, drawing considerable public interest. Confusion over right-of-way rules for cyclists at pedestrian crossings. According to regulations, cyclists must yield to cars if they ride across the pedestrian crossing. Conversely, if they walk their bikes across, cars must yield. Less than half of those surveyed in Traffic Safety's 2023 survey knew this rule. This indicates a lack of understanding of traffic rules. Pasi Po Onen, a traffic safety instructor, noted that many people do not review traffic rules, viewing driving as a daily habit. This can pose risks and cause frustration in traffic. Police chase intoxicated driver in central Turku on Monday morning. The chase began in front of the cathedral and ended in a collision on Naantali Highway. The female driver, upon being detected by police, fled at high speed, endangering many. During the chase, she collided with two other cars at Joutseno intersection. After the collision, the police forced her car off the road and arrested her. A police officer was slightly injured, and a police car was damaged. The driver is suspected of severe traffic safety violations, drunk driving, and drug use. The police urge those involved to provide additional information. Finnish skulls to be repatriated after 150 years. According to the Finnish Ministry of Education and Culture, preparations for the repatriation have been ongoing for 6 years. Most skulls are expected to be reburied at the ruins of Paakain Church in early September. The repatriation will involve over 80 skulls, including 55 from Paakain, 10 from Pailavesi, 2 from Joutseno, and 3 from Rautalampi. All will be transferred to Paakain on August 20th, although this date may change. Maria Josephson from the Karolinska Institute confirmed the repatriation will take place in August, but the exact date is yet to be determined. Metsä Fibre to begin adjustment negotiations next week at Joutseno pulp mill. The mill employs about 190 people, all of whom face potential temporary layoffs. The negotiations are due to decreased demand for pulp in the Chinese market. Ismo Nujanen, CEO of Metsä Fibre, stated the company needs to prepare for production adjustments as delivery volumes decrease. The negotiations are expected to last 2 weeks. If necessary, the layoffs could last up to 90 days and be implemented in multiple rounds until the end of January 2025. Details on the timing and number of layoffs will be clarified by the end of the year. Co-living becomes a considered option amid financial difficulties. At a community in Helsinki, residents believe that community bonding is more important than sharing costs. In the shared apartment at Merihaka, a warm and free atmosphere prevails. Anna Ludasila, 22, Taru Honkanen, 20, and Suzanne Vuorasalo, 22, met during a trip to Asia and decided to live together. They have integrated well and understand each other, maintaining flexibility instead of strict rules. Although co-living can sometimes be inconvenient, the bonding and mutual support in daily life make the experience valuable and meaningful. More parents choosing non-internet and game-free phone watches as first phones for their children. Anarietta Korhonen in Helsinki decided to give her 2 children, aged 7 and 9, phone watches for school instead of smartphones. This decision is based on concerns that smartphones can easily become addictive for children. Phone watches help maintain communication without negative features. Research shows that the number of parents buying phone watches for their children is increasing. This year, about 10% of parents chose phone watches, compared to only 1% a few years ago. Psychologist and brain expert Dr. Mona Mwasala supports this change, noting that phone watches are less harmful to children's development. Many parents also believe phone watches keep children interested in outdoor activities longer and reduce the risk of digital dependency. On Monday, there were multiple reports of a moose sighting in areas such as Veikalahti, Nayanavara, and Rantakila. The moose has caused several dangerous situations on the roads. The police are prepared to euthanize the animal if necessary. Markus Taskinen, director of East Finland Police, stated that the last sighting of the moose was after 1 p.m. The police continue to monitor the situation as the injured moose remains a potential threat to pedestrians and drivers.